to our channel. This is Still a Sane Life. This is Allie and
Terrence, aka Smooth Sailing.
Oh, you changed it up, didn't
Yeah.
you? So, like and subscribe.
Alright, hit that like.
Alright, you guys. Well, we are going to talk about, in this video, the different type of rooms on the carnival boats that we have stayed in. Now, we have stayed in interior rooms. We have stayed in the portholes, conjoining portholes.
Yeah, conjoining portholes.
And we stayed in the balcony. Yep. We have been on 6 cruises together. 2 of them we have taken our kids. One time we took all 3 kids, and the last one we just took our 2 youngest kids with us. So we're going to talk about the pros, and then we'll talk about the cons of each room for us and what we've liked about them. So let's my husband has his handy dandy notebook so we can kind of stay on track a little bit. So first, we're going to talk about the interior rooms. Now, interior rooms is just as it sounds.
Yeah. Interior.
You have
no view or nothing.
Nope. There's no window. There's none of that. Now, our very first cruise that we took in 2018 was an interior cabin. Okay. Yeah. Typically with those are going to be your cheaper fares. You're going to get a room pretty cheaply on there. We've only done the interior cabin 2 of our cruises.
Yeah. 2
of our cruises we've done interior cabins, and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. So, what are some of your pros about staying in the interior?
Basically, the pros is a whole lot cheaper. That's it.
And if you're somebody who likes to have your room to be completely dark when you go to bed or take a nap, that would be your kind of room. I'm somebody too, like, when we go on cruises, we don't really stay in our room like that to begin with, except for to sleep and change our clothes. And sometimes we do take naps. But we're not somebody who just stays like a long time in our cabins. So that's also, something to consider. But the downside is that you're not gonna have no time. Like, you're not gonna know, like, if it's nighttime, daytime, any of those things when you're in your room.
Or where you docked at. You don't know where you docked at. You gotta go on the balcony or look on the TV until you arrive at your destination. That's it.
Like, there is no, like, you have no visuals of anything. So you're really gonna be relying on your phone or the TV in the room to tell you, like, what time it is and everything. So those are the interior. That's an interior cabin. They're typically your smaller cabin too. So if it's just the 2 of you or just one person, I would do that room. I have never done an interior room with children, and I do not ever plan on it. So I don't know. I mean, if you've ever done a cruise with an interior cabin with your kids and everybody was fine, then that's great. But for us, that would definitely not be happening. So our next one we're going to do is a porthole. Now, with the porthole, it is a little bit more than an interior, but you get like what it says, like a little window in your room.
You can look out. That's it.
And you can look out and you can see the ocean or wherever you're docked at, but it's just like you can just only look out. You can't, walk out or anything. But we've done the porthole. We've done it. That one we did 3 times, didn't we? Because twice was with just us, and then one time was the conjoining porthole.
Oh yeah.
So we've done it 3 times. We've had a porthole 3 times, and I like having a porthole because you don't feel confined. You don't feel claustrophobic. If you're somebody who likes to see the daylight, when the sun's setting, where you're docked at, all those things, I would say a porthole is good for you. And it's pretty, inexpensive compared to a balcony. So portholes are nice. I like them. Go ahead.
Oh, and the cons is, you can't sit outside and look at the ocean.
Yeah, you can't do that. So you still have to go out to the Lido deck or whatever to get your outside experience. But it is nice. They're nice. And we've done these ones, so we're also going to talk about the conjoining porthole. But we've done 3 portholes, and twice was just the regular porthole, and once was with no, those 2 were with us, and then the conjoining one was with our kids. But anyways, it's nice. So then we're going to go into the conjoining porthole because I feel like it's going to kind of go back and forth with that one. So we did a conjoining porthole when we went with our kids the very first time, and this one we did with all 3 of our children. And the only reason why I said I wanted to do a conjoining porthole for this cruise was because, again, we had all 3 of our kids. Now, at the time, the oldest, Maya, was 15?
Yeah.
She was 15, and then our daughter was 5, and our son was 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way we can all be in a porthole room together. There's just no way. We will be walking over each other. Then, for that cruise, we just could not afford the balcony. But we could afford, but the conjoining porthole room was a lot cheaper. So we got 2 rooms for the price of what 1 balcony was on this cruise. So I was like, this is great. We'll have two bedrooms, we'll have 2 bathrooms, and then we still have the porthole because, like I said, I'm somebody. If there's gonna be that many people in a room, I need to be able to look out and see stuff. So that's why that conjoining room was nice. It had like a door, and then you could just lock the door, and then we could open it, and then our kids can come in and out, or we could go in and out of their room. So that one really worked out. Now I would say if you're going to be traveling with kids,
but I'm sorry to cut you off. But when you did conjoining room, you need to call and talk to your what we talk to the lady? What's the advisor or something?
Somebody from Carnival.
Somebody from Carnival, and let me know that you want a conjoining room, and then she got to look and see what's available. Like you only can get a conjoining room if it's available.
Yeah, and those ones are sometimes kind of harder to get to, just because people will still book those, but they don't want the conjoining room. They'll just book it because that's where they want to be at on the boat. So for that cruise, I did have to call Carnival, and then whoever I talked to, she found us a room and everything. But that one we liked that one. And like I said, we traveled. That was 5 of us, and we had plenty of room. Nobody was on top of each other. Our oldest, she stayed in her room, but our 2 youngest, they would kind of go back and forth between our room and the other room.
Because the conjoining room, you can open the side door and leave it open, and they can cross back and forth to our room to their room, because you can open the door from the inside to the other side. You leave it open like that.
Yeah.
But the cons of that is, you having any activity with your the spouse or whatever, they can hear y'all activities. So
Really, Terrence?
yeah, my daughter told me that.
The doors are not very thick, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, so use your imagination on that one.
Oh man.
So back to what I was saying. Conjoining rooms are great if you are traveling with a larger party, you got multiple children with you, and you still are somebody like us. We didn't want to get 2 separate rooms, and then our room is like 521, for instance, and then our kids are at 536.
Yeah, we got them side by side.
I was like, there's no way that's gonna work out, and then I was like, there's no way either. Like, I'm gonna sleep in one room with like 2 of the kids, and then he would go down and sleep in the room with another kid. So the conjoining rooms worked great for us. Loved the conjoining room with the porthole. I think they might even have conjoining rooms for balconies, and they might even have conjoining rooms for interiors. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's something you would have to call Carnival, or whenever you get on there to book your cruise, you can look on the thing, because they have like a picture of the ship and then the rooms that are available and stuff. So last but not least, we're going to talk about balconies, because the balcony is the one we just took, and then this is the one where we just took our 2 youngest ones. Our oldest, she didn't go with us on this cruise. So pros and cons of a balcony. Pros: you get to walk out onto your little deck thing.
With chairs and
you get to hear the ocean. You get to
eat breakfast.
You can eat breakfast out there. Coffee, drinks.
Yeah.
I would put our bathing suits out there, and I had clips, so that way I didn't have to keep our wet bathing suits in our room, and they would dry. Because I don't know about y'all, if y'all have kids, my kids are very particular about their clothes, and if their bathing suits are still wet and they're trying to put them back on, it's gonna be a meltdown. And plus, they don't want to put on no cold bathing suit either. So that worked out very well, and I was able to keep our we had got them some water shoes too for when we got off on the ports, so that way they didn't get sand and stuff in their feet. So out on the deck, we were able to keep like towels, bathing suits, wet clothes, all those things for them to air dry while we were. So for a balcony, balconies are going to be typically a little bit more expensive. Our last one, now for our family of 4, for our balcony on this last one, we paid about
4.
Close to 4. No, it wasn't. It was close to 3. It's between 3,000 and 4,000 we paid for this balcony. But we went to 3 ports and we had 2 sea. No, we went to 4 ports and had 3 sea days, something like that. So it wasn't really too bad in the grand scheme of things when you think about everything you're getting when you go on a cruise. But they are going to cost you a little bit more. With the balcony, the rooms are bigger. With every room you get, whether it's interior, porthole, balcony, suite, every one of them get a little bit bigger each time. So with this one, we had plenty of room still with all 4 of us. Now, it was a little tight when all 4 of us were in that room together, but sleeping wise, all those things, it was fine.
They have bunk beds. They have, bunk beds inside.
Yeah, and they can, in all of those rooms, they can make, you get a standard, you tell them whenever you're booking your cruise, they either can have 2 twin beds or they can make 1 king bed. And then there's a couch in there that they can make into a bed. And then they can also have a pull down thing for like a bunk bed kind of scenario, depending on however many people you have in your room. So there's always that. I mean, a cruise room, regardless, is still going to be tight because they're trying to put as many people on these boats as they can. But depending on, what your price range is, what it is you like, what you don't like. If you're somebody who's like, hey, we don't mind all being on top of each other, we're only going to be in there to sleep, and, we need as, cheap as possible, get the interior room. There's nothing wrong with it, okay? But if you're somebody who wants to have a view, but maybe you don't want to, pay as much for a balcony, get the porthole. And then if you're like, you know what? It's gonna be about the same for a porthole versus a balcony, because sometimes you get those prices where you're like, it's only gonna be like $200-300 difference between a porthole and a balcony, and so sometimes you have to put that into perspective as well. Just for me and my sanity alone, I have to have a porthole or now a balcony if I'm going with my kids. If it's just me and him, I don't really care. If we have an interior or a balcony, it's not really gonna matter to me either way. But if I had my kids, I got to see. I'll feel like the walls are closing in on me with all of us in a room. And our kids they're 8 and 5 now, but they would be everywhere. And then your bathrooms are still the same size pretty much in all of the rooms. You got a toilet, you got a stand-up shower. Some of the newer boats I've seen have like the glass in their bathroom instead of the shower curtain, but we have on our next cruise, the one that we're looking at to do for 2026, we're looking at the Family Harbor suite on the horizon, and that one, from what I've seen, for a balcony, you got a half bath which is just a bathtub and then a sink, and then you have your full bath with the shower, a toilet, and another sink. So we're thinking about doing that one next year. We haven't booked it yet. We keep going back and forth between that one and a different cruise because he's already put in his vacation time for next year. So I have to work around what he put in, and he just picked some random date and didn't even look at nothing. So we're kind of strapped on that. But if you have, this video is getting long, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And also, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to this video. We now have 12 followers. We've been doing this for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And we got 12 subscribers, so I feel like we're doing okay, but we always can do better. So, like and subscribe.
All right, hit that like.
All right, you guys. Thank you. Bye.